What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I will be reviewing a beer from the Great Lakes Brewery, and they're out of Etobicoke, Ontario, Canada. And this is their Pale Ale, and this is a part of their 7-barrel series. So they are calling this a Brut Pale Ale, comes in at 4.8% alcohol by volume, 22 IBUs, and at the time of review, this can is approximately 7 weeks old. And I want to give a huge thanks and shout out to a good friend of mine, Greg, for hooking me up with this one. I'll post a link in the description box to the beer haul video I did that contains this beer. So Greg actually left this can for me and actually quite a few other Canadian beer tubers back at the Well and Piss Up, which was a huge bottle share the night before the 2019 Albino Rhino Beer Festival. And that's because we were supposed to do a Beer Analysis 101 live on Nick's channel, Maxwell Starr's Beer Reviews. And in fact, as I am reviewing this beer right now, that beer analysis is taking place over on Nick's channel. Now, you're going to see this review a couple days after the fact, but right now they're reviewing this beer. Why am I not on the panel of the show? Because my internet is down. So thanks a lot, Spectrum. I do appreciate it. It actually went down a couple hours ago. I'm quite pissed off, very disappointed. And I was supposed to be on the panel of that show, and I was also supposed to do a pre-show review with Chris over at Off the 10th. And we were going to do Mas Agave from Founders, and I was unable to hop on for that one. So I thought, I don't have any internet, and I have both of these beers, so I'm going to review this, and then I'm going to review the Mas Agave right after. So you will see these before the end of the week in which the Beer Analysis 101 over on Nick's channel took place. I will, if I remember, post a link in the description box to the entire panel's review, Beer Analysis 101, of this beer. I didn't watch it yet because I don't have any internet, but once it comes back, I'm going to watch it and see how my palate matches up with the panels. But anyway, if you haven't seen my channel before, I am not a huge fan of brewed IPAs. I really don't like them. Now, this is a brewed pale ale, so a little bit different. Now, on the back here, it says Alexandra, or Al, to those that know her, is one of our favorite people around GLB. This beer was inspired by her effervescent personality and dry sense of humor. I see what they did there. They say the 7-barrel series, it says 2017 marked 30 years of Great Lakes brewing great beers. To celebrate, we gifted ourselves with a 7-barrel copper brewing system, which allows us to continue crafting, collaborating, and creating cleverly named beers for 30 more years. So it's like a small batch, obviously. Yeah, so it says serving temperature 3 to 5 degrees Celsius. GLB, so Great Lakes Brewery is different than the Great Lakes Brewing Company in the US, obviously. They are out of Etobicoke, Ontario, Canada, and Toronto, around Toronto. And then the one in the States is Cleveland, Ohio. But I really think that the Great Lakes Brewery in Etobicoke makes just as good beers as the one in Cleveland. I don't know. I've had a lot from both breweries, and can't really say that I prefer one to the other. So anyway, let's crack this open, see what we got going on. Brut Pale Ale, I don't know, 4.8%. Let's just hope that I enjoy it. I hope I enjoy it. Anyway, let's give this a pour. Yeah, so many of these brewed IPAs, they pour out and they have this really like hazy yellow look to them, like really bright and hazy. I don't know how this is going to come off on camera, but in the glass, this is like sunshine in a glass. Super bright, vibrant yellow. Yeah, that's just crazy. That looks awesome, actually. Very hazy, muddled looking, you know, turbid. It had about a finger of a really bright white head that is super soapy looking. But yeah, that looks awesome. I don't know how it's going to come off on camera, like I said, but this looks awesome in the glass. Aside from the head pretty soapy. I'm using the Great Lakes Brewing Company glass, so hashtag proper glassware, kind of, not really. Anyway, let's get a nose. Yeah, that smells actually pretty damn good. So a lot of stone fruits in this one, like right from the get-go, peach and apricot, touch of mango. This is really big on stone fruits. Yeah, wow. That's like freshly squeezed, like peach or apricot juice. There's a slight, like, almost grassy herbal component I'm getting on the nose too. There's a base, like, crackery malt build to it. This honestly, to me right now, is kind of smelling like a dry hopped Pilsner or like a dry hopped Kolsch, kind of giving me those kind of characters. Very bright and vibrant on that stone fruit. A little bit of citrusy, like ruby red grapefruit, orange tangerine, like zestiness. Yeah, it smells pretty good. This smells like, right now it's super hot out. As I'm reviewing this, it's still like 80 degrees outside at nighttime. And this just feels and smells like it's going to be super refreshing. So let's get into it. Cheers, everybody, and thanks again, Greg. And I'm sorry to all my friends that I could not be on Beer Analysis 101. Trust me, I'm bummed out. I don't hate it. There's just not a lot going on in the taste. That crackery, biscuity malt component right up front kind of hits me. And then I get those stone fruits, but really subtle stone fruits, peach and apricot mostly. The body on this one is like higher side of light body, 4.8%. I'm not really looking for a body here that's, you know, probably anywhere close to medium body, but like it's pretty thin and watery. Yeah, I'd say higher side of light body. The mouthfeel is kind of what you expect from a Brut anything, Pale Ale IPA. It's crisp, it's clean, it's super dry, it's quite refreshing, but like my palate is devoid of most saliva. It's just super, it's like bone dry. Yeah, the finish is super dry, really no residual flavors. The best thing I can say about this one is it's super easy to drink. It's really spritzy and effervescent like you want from a Brut IPA. It's really dry like a Brut Pale Ale. It's really dry and spritzy on the palate like the style should be. But for me, this just doesn't have a lot of flavor. I mean, this is not super flavorful. The flavors that are here, the biscuity, crackery, stone fruit, really nice, but they're not in your face. This is gonna go down like water. This is just super easy to drink. So on Beer Analysis, they do rating to style and then rating to personal preference. So I'll do that here. You guys always know I rate to personal preference, but let me rate to style first. As far as a Brut Pale Ale, or let's say a Brut IPA goes, I guess it's a Brut Pale Ale, so we'll just go Brut Pale Ale. I've never had a Brut Pale Ale. But if I was to drink a Brut Pale Ale, I would say this is kind of in the realm of what I'd expect. A 4.8% Brut Pale Ale, lighter body, super light overall. The flavors are not boisterous and in your face and bombastic, Paul. They are just, you know, subtle, nuanced, and pretty solid. It's super dry. It's really spritzy and effervescent, a lot of carbonation going on. So stylistically, I would probably give this like, they do it out of 10. The conversion, people can convert from 5 to 10, I'm pretty sure. But I would give this a 4.25 out of 5 for personal preference, 8.5 out of 10. Or sorry, for style. 4.25 out of 5, 8.5 out of 10 for style. Personal preference, here's where it loses me a little bit. You can say I have a bias towards the style, but I still am trying these styles. I'm trying Brut anythings, Brut Pale Ales, Brut IPAs. I still try them. And I will say this is not bad. This is not terrible. I'm fine with it. I'm going to drink the rest I can and I'll be all right. But the flavors are very subtle. There is a huge dryness and a huge carbonation here. Part of the reason I don't like Brut beers in general is because of that dryness, and there's a lot of it here. So the best I could do as far as a personal preference, and I think it's a fair score, I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5 or a 7 out of 10. So it's a solid, good Brut Pale Ale. But again, the style is really not for me. And I don't think I'm ever going to be converted to a Brut IPA or Pale Ale lover. Just not what I'm looking for in a beer. I'm not going to sit here and say this isn't well made, because it is. I clearly gave it a stylistic score that I think is pretty fair. And I also think I gave it a personal score that really matches up with what I think about this one. So that was a Pale Ale, a part of the 7-barrel series from Great Lakes Brewery in Etobicoke, Ontario, Canada, not the Cleveland, Ohio brewery in the US. And I gave it personal preference a 3.5 out of 5. And for style, I give it a 4.25 out of 5. So if you've had this one before, let me know what you think about it. I'm going to go watch the Beer Analysis 101 with everybody to see what they thought. I'd imagine most of them like this more than me, because most people seem to enjoy Brut IPAs more than me. I have not met somebody that just absolutely loves Brut IPAs or Brut Pale Ales, so I'd be curious to find someone who just loves the style and, you know, can't live without it. But for me, yeah, just one of those styles where I'll probably buy them here and there, but for me, just, you know, nothing I'll probably ever really enjoy. So yeah, appreciate everybody stopping by. Thanks once again to Greg for hooking me up with this one. Once again, I apologize to all you guys for not being on Beer Analysis 101, but it is what it is. I reviewed the beer though, so I'm gonna go watch that later on tonight, hopefully, assuming that my internet comes back, and we'll see what everybody thought and how my palate aligns with them. So appreciate it. Take it easy, everyone. Cheers.